time yet. Nobody shows up till 12 o'clock.
Effie, the best are here.
Well, these guys is hurrying me. Hurry up.
We used to start at 10 o'clock, now we start at 12.
The best is here, right, Roger?
Oh, boy, you better believe.
I got up. I must have been up at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and I've been. Oh, everybody's calling, hurry up.
Well, you got it for the chickens then.
Yeah, I got for the rooster rabbit. Bobby, this boy came up. They come about 8 o'clock, I think.
Roger Jr. and Roger. Thurston.
I wonder if there's a short.
There might be but they had Charles's birthday down here. There's some places switch. They had to switch on. How you doing? No.
Charles Thurston.
Did they get it to him? They took it
Garrett. Kenny Thurston. Kenny Thurston. Doug Barrett. Charles.
Yeah.
And back there, taking a picture, is a Marshall. Twyla. Used to be Twyla Thurston, but this is Marshall. Effie's nephew. Phyllis. Jesse and Charles' daughter. That's Twyla's boy. I think that's Twyla's grandson up there. Jesse. Hi, Jesse. Effie. Kenny. There's the baby. There's Chris's baby. There's a little Brittany. Little Brittany. The little one. How's that feel for grandchild?
That worked too good.
She just likes to do that for free. She just seems to know when she's going to go shop. She's fussy.
Chris. Look at that. A star is born. Whoa. All right. I got her.
What the heck's going on here?
Some of the clan. Hi, James.
Yeah.
Okay, Pop. It's all right.
Gotcha. The cameraman taking the cameraman. Betty. Betty. Hi, Betty. Gotcha.
You want milk for your coffee?
Effie. Sweetheart Effie. Oh, sweetheart Effie. Roger Thurston, the White Alpha sale. The clan.
Oh, yes, and the Latin service to go on with that. Are we lucky here? Okay, it's got one with a plastic center in it, so it can't break when you drop it or throw it at somebody. Okay, here we go. Nice wide mouth Latin service. Okay, all for one money here now. Everybody needs one here now. Latin service to go. Hey! 25 going once.
On the 6th of June.
25 going twice.
Hey.
Two.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay, got a nice little
Hi, James.
10 wide
Having fun?
and 8 narrow.
That's nice.
Yeah, 10 wide, 8 narrow.
And what are you going to do?
Christmas outfit.
Supposed to say, I'll be
Okay,
back. Cabal? Here, Doug. Cliff? Roger and Betty checking the inventory. Yeah, you got the count and the amount. It's Roger's mother, Chris's baby.
The unbreakable balloon. You're all pretty.
Roger Thurston's mother.
about 100-year sequences. The other groups would come in. The Monongahela came up in from the Pittsburgh area and apparently lived peaceably with the Shanks Ferry people here. They kind of traded off. They taught the Shanks Ferry to quit using the grit temper, the quartz temper, and use the shell. It was much easier to do. And they, as I say, there's no signs of warfare, that apparently the two groups got along together. And then the later group, the McFate people that I talked about, were a kind of combination. They were descendants of these other two groups. And they lasted into the historic period because of the trade goods that I found. The iron object there, and over on this, where you see the pipe here, that piece of rust there is the remnants of steel, fire steel.
Oh, okay, for making
And the two little arrow points that are on this side of it,
Okay.
They would hold the sharp point of those and strike the back of the arrow point down over the edge of the fire steel.
Okay, get
Fire.
Okay.
And they're both rust covered from the remnants of the steel that would rub off on them. So these pots represent three separate entities, probably about 100 years space between them. Notice they're little pipes. We kind of borrowed the ideas from each other for those.
Oh, yeah.
The two pipes that you see here are arm pipes. If you notice the points on the elbow,
Okay.
and even the biceps.
Yeah,
it's all
they're
very
heavier
much
at the top.
a likeness of the human arm.
Hey.
Now these are elk bones that you see here. There was apparently a heavy use of elk. They were very much a part of the territory at that time. And that's a wolf jaw down in the corner.
The left one there. Okay.
They had taken their teeth. They used teeth for necklaces. And back there on that one where you see the turtle shell dish, they ground the vertebrae out of that and made a dish out of it.
Oh.
It was in that pot when I found the
Oh, is
pot.
that right?
The pot was broken, but the turtle shell was protected. Otherwise, it would have been smashed and lost.
Okay.
And with that group of things, you notice the three sections of jaws there?
Right.
Those are wolf jaws. Notice the size of the teeth.
yeah,
They're
the
almost
insides
the
are
size of the bear's tusks.
Yeah, you're right.
And the medicine men used those. They implant those in a wooden mask, or else they could put them down in their mouth. And just set those. They're ground down. You see, the jaw is only about half the thickness of the original.
Okay.
So they grind them down, and then they could set them in the bottom and the top.
Give them a
Have the likeness of a wolf.
Oh, me.
And the bone pipe up here is sometimes part of the medicine man's regalia too. They could either smoke the tobacco in that or blow through it and blow smoke in the face. It was medicinal.
Okay.
Even the early whites got that idea from the Indians that tobacco was medicinal, and they would use it partly as a ritual and occasionally for pleasure. And it was an important weed.
Yeah, you're right.
too.
They probably tried to smoke everything that they could dry.
I imagine they tried just about all of them. And, they had tobacco. The pipe with this pot over here in this corner, the pipe has a dottle in it yet.
There's something in it you can see.
Yeah, it's in there. Ground up. Whether tobacco, I assume it is. But I've saved it very. Someday maybe I can find somebody. No, I don't think so. But find somebody that can identify the material in it. Some biologist someplace should be able to do that. I can't.
What's the loose
That's
black stuff?
thatch. Those subterranean or underground houses that I mentioned.
Okay.
They lined them. The bottom of it was lined with bark, sometimes grass. Among my things, it's not in here, but I have charred grass. Just as, only thing is black instead of green.
Just like the blades of glass and everything. I see.
And they lined them with that. And of course, the natural question, something had to burn it. And I have a very simple explanation for that too. The Indians were lousy. You know, they had really nothing to combat lice.
No,
And I guess they just
antiseptics.
no,
or
they just
anything like
crawled with it. And so when spring would come and they would withdraw from this little underground feature, the natural thing was to throw a torch in and kill them pesky little devils. So,
that. Might have to use that this winter.
yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. I think that's how they kind of cleaned them out.
Okay.
Once in a while it would burn too freely in there and it caved the thing in
Yeah,
for them.
I see.
I never found any skeletons in any of them.
People drop-
Apparently they were never trapped in them.
Okay, so they wouldn't start the fires while people were in there or use them for burial fires. It's quite a pile of chert that you
Yeah,
have
that's the
there.
chips. And you see the prevailing flint types were gray.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the points. There are a few of them rejects.
These would be ones that weren't finished or something like that?
They're broken, something or other. Typically triangular.
Now, would it be used for small game or?
Well, collectors would tell you that these small points were bird points.
Oh.
Now, among collectors are a lot of terms like that that really don't hold up. But to shoot a deer or one of us, that little one would do just
Oh, yeah.
good a job as one of the
All you
big
have to
ones.
do is open the hole, the arrow's gonna go on in for the rest of it.
So I think that's kind of an old wives' tale. That the little arrowheads were used for birds and the big ones were used for bear.
Okay.
So imagine when they had a piece of flint that would make a certain kind of arrowhead, that's what they made out of.
With these now, they would actually split the wood and put them in and then bind it so that the small points could be...
Yeah, and as near as I can figure out, they either use sinew,
Okay.
well, that's the leaders,
Okay.
along the backbone is the best
Okay.
of the deer.
Uh-huh.
And they could bind the arrow point, you know, split it,
Okay.
slip the arrowhead in there and bind this around behind it. And then before they were finished, they'd take a loop up over the ear on each side of the triangle to hold it in position.
Okay.
Otherwise, when they would yank it out of the
She'd
quiver,
fall off.
they'd just lose their arrow point in
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
There
Well,
were-
that gets almost bone hard when it dries, doesn't it?
Oh, goodness, yes. There are some of these arrow points, if you notice that these are also from the same site, that have the rounded corners on them.
Oh, yes.
And I think that was another way to try to get around this business of drawing the arrow from the quiver.
Okay.
Because some of these barbed ones
They would have it.
would be bound to get
Catch.
hooked in there. Even if you didn't pull the arrowhead off, you would have a hard time withdrawing them.
Yeah.
So they were innovating a little bit here with some of the points.
Well, in the movies, you see them having dozens and dozens of arrows in the back there. What do you think they might have carried on just a normal hunting trip?
Well, they weren't crazy enough, unless it was a matter of warfare, or
Uh-huh.
something like that, to carry any great amount.
So you'd have
I
two or
think
three.
I think they were probably careful with them. Some of the later Indians actually used a double shaft. You know, they had a socket that had an arrow with a small shaft on it that they could put into the hollow end of their arrow,
Oh, I see.
so that if they hit the animal, the main shaft would drop off.
Oh,
So if that's what they were using, all they needed was a supply of these short
the points.
points. Yeah.
Okay. Then that way you'd save your feathers and...
Yeah, so they could almost use that. A couple arrows would be sufficient to see them through an ordinary hunt.
Uh-huh.
These are older items here when you get down to these larger points. The earlier Indians, these would go back into the BC period with spears and not these with the crooked end on them. Generally were thought to be used as knives. Again,
Okay.
any collector would tell you that, but in fact it may not be so.
Okay. But you're saying that the certain time period when they used the big ones here, they just didn't have the arrows yet, bows and arrows.
Yeah, they were using a spear
in the sling.
and sometimes with a throwing stick. That was the development on top of the ordinary spear. It was about a 2-foot stick with a hook in it that they would use to propel
Yeah, you
their
have a picture of
spear.
that in the book.
Yeah. And then the arrow was, or the bow was a development on top of that. A little easier to use, a little more accurate, I assume.
Yeah, we see the Western Indians whenever they're in the movies, where some of them have the spears, and some of them have the bow and arrow, and some of them have the rifle.
Among the Western Indians, the large spear was sort of an emblem of authority. They were the chief carried one of those
Yeah,
with
that'd
feathers on it.
Okay, yeah, and they come up and throw it in the ground and mark their peace talks.
So for a sidearm, most of the late woodland, probably from the Owasco through the Iroquois and the Indians that lived down here, went to a club. And the ball club, you've seen pictures of them.
Yeah.
They carve a wooden ball on the end of a crooked handle and headache producer. And then if they could get an arrow point or after they got metal, they'd like to put a piece of metal in the end of that ball to make the weapon
And open up that little notch that you put in your head, see?
all the more hideous. So they seem to get away from the idea of the spear. When they got the trade axes from the one on the
Metal in here. Was that an original there, or is that a replica? Or?
No, it's an original.
Okay.
That came from the Allen farm over there of Kerwinsville. But when they got those metal axes, that's what they went to. Every Indian worth they salt had an iron or bronze sidearm in the form of a tomahawk, which to their kind of warfare was perfect. Stalking game or stalking their enemy, either, to get within reach of them.
They've had it, they got it.
That's right. No, they didn't. They apparently thought better of that than the use of the spear.
Well, the hammer point on that, would they have used that to break rocks and stuff with, or what could that,
I
a white man
suppose-
would use it for driving nails,
Yeah,
but,
no, I don't know if they can see that with your camera or not.
Yeah, I got it.
It's an iron axe head. Typically, they were drilled out for pipe. But see, this one hadn't done that with it. They called this a pole end on the axe. And I suppose for breaking bone, for butchering, that sort of thing would be very useful. There's another item over here. You see those flat discs?
Yes.
The collectors have always called those net sinkers. With the idea that when they were seining fish, that they would tie a row of those along the bottom of the net. But you don't find them over on the river at all, where they should have been. But you find them on top of these hills. And evidently, whatever their use was, it had to do with something on the hills. And I have a very simple answer for that, too. If you've read stories about these passenger pigeons, they claim that they were so thick they'd blot out the sun, just millions of them.
Okay.
And I think those would be just about the weight. I've seen pictures of Western Indians using circular nets with weights, stone tied around the outside of them, and kind of like rolling a parachute, they could pack that in such a way that when they would throw it up in the air, it would unfold. And birds, any kind of a bird flying into something like that was caught.
Oh, yeah, once they get their wings in that, they're going straight down.
So that's what I think they were bird net weights. And I'm sure they weren't fish net weights. You don't find them along the river at all. They're just missing, conspicuous.
Which goes the wrong way for things, yeah.
Here are, these are the sorts of things that they used for weighting fish nets.
Okay,
This
it
came-
looks like it has a hole.
This came from down at Sunbury,
Okay.
down the forks of the Susquehanna. Now that kind of weight, you notice that you've got at least twice the weight or more than you'd have.
The water wouldn't drag yet.
No, and they didn't make anything fancy out of it. No, it was just smash a notch in eight
Both
sides.
sides so that you could tie it on.
So that's what I consider the net weight.
The untrained eye, that's just a broken chunk of rock laying on the ground.
Well, that's probably true. And a strange thing too, we always spoke of ourselves as arrowhead hunters, and that's what we hunted. But these other things are so interesting.
Mhm.
And many of the collectors pass up, well, like you said, for something like that, or these stone axe things, pass it up while they're looking for arrowheads.
Oh, yeah, they're not very shape.
Yeah, I've talked with several collectors lately that never found the cells for a stone axe. Now, I bet they stomped over dozens of them. Yeah, always look at that.
Something that's got
That's
a
an
sign
item, if
chips
there's
and-
anything strange about it at all, you better check it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have made a good one, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's got broken down to a
Well,
point.
smashed the
Yeah.
bit off of it. This is a piece here of a soapstone pot. You feel the soapy
Oh,
nature
okay,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah, you can get a
That's-
waxy feel.
That's talc. In fact, that's the stone they make talcum powder
Oh, really?
out of, by
Grind up.
scraping that. But the Indians would get large chunks of this stone
Okay.
and then just take a piece of flint and keep scraping until they make a dish out of it.
Oh.
Big soapstone dishes.
Oh, okay.
So those were your first cookware. And
Well, how do they stand up to heat? I mean, does it?
oh yeah, it's great. Notice some of these wood stoves they make up in Connecticut that have slabs of this.
Oh,
sides.
for insulators.
No, no, well, or holding the heat too.
Okay.
Yeah, you can buy them today, I think.
Huh?
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
they're
they're
made-
advertising in the magazines.
Yeah, they're boxed with this very same.
And they hold the heat well, wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And this is a chunk out of the bottom of one. There are not many of these, weren't many of these used in this area for some reason. But it was the beginning of cooking. The first pots were made out of this soapstone. And then interestingly, the first pottery was made in that same design. You know, with a flat bottom in it.
Okay.
And apparently they broke too easily. You know, a flat bottom, if
carrying.
they set it down on a stone or something, it would pop the bottom of it. These things were rugged, you know, look at it.
Oh, real
They're
thick and everything.
3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
But when they made them of pottery, they were generally thinner. And they evolved. People will ask me, why did they put a round bottom on a pot? It doesn't sound
Well set
reasonable.
up.
They evolved to the round bottom because the flat bottom pots broke too easily. So it's the theory of the egg. You know,
Okay.
the good Lord saw that eggs were made in such a shape that they'll take a lot of punishment before they break.
Yeah.
And the same thing with these pots. They would take much rougher usage with the round bottom.
And their traveling and stuff like that, they would.
And they could set them in a fire. It didn't bother them that much for managing them. Just to set
Yeah,
them
you
down
would
in the
throw
ashes.
them down into the ashes and they
Yeah.
got them all around them.
Or to store them, 3 pebbles was all
Yeah.
you needed to
Oh, I see. For
hold
stand
them
up
upright. Yeah. And they went just universally went to the round bottom pot. The Western Indians. I've seen pictures of pots from England, you know, prehistoric England, and from Southeast Asia that were very similar to what you're looking at right there in the case.
And
Round bottom.
the what they worked with even clear through to some of your religious symbols and stuff like that. When they carried that incense chamber, it was a round-bottomed pot with the fluted edges and carried the incense that they would shake and whatever. That would follow that same pattern.
They evolved with a lot of their stuff. Anything there that you question?
These are pots, pieces here.
Yeah, the different types with the Shakespeare. And then there's a phase there, I call it the bell phase of the Shakespeare, when they started using the shell, clamshell temper in it.
Okay, Rev.
All of this up here had the quartz. It must have been a job, you know, to crush the quartz.
Just
But
keep making it finer and
that
finer,
was
grind it.
what it called for right there with what they call the Sturt phase, the early stuff. And then your Monongahela here and down the bottom of the McFate. The McFate stuck pretty well to that characteristic design.
Some different time periods and stuff.
Yeah, see, this used the quartz for temper in it. This had clamshell, and of course, these people down here were the ones that had taught these people to use the
Okay.
clamshell.
Okay.
They had kind of broken them away from the tradition
It
here
was
of
easier
using
to
the
break
hard.
up the shells.
Yeah, and
work
they
than
were
before.
throwing them away. They ate a lot of the freshwater clams.
Out of the rivers.
The river and the creek here,
Uh-huh.
even when I was a kid, was full of them.
Oh, still had clams?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see. I remember finding shells, but I didn't realize they were local.
They stripping the soil.
Okay, sediment over the bottom.
Sediment didn't poison them, it smothered them. Now the reason for this tempering might be interesting too, because some of this pottery is so thin. The one up on that corner, those sides I considered the thickness of a dime.
Oh, is that
Wow.
right? Well, looking at them, you'd think they were a lot thicker.
And the art teacher down in Clearfield said, well, you couldn't begin to make one of those on a wheel. They had to be pinched,
Squeezed.
pinch and patch. And to get them as perfect as they did by that kind of method, they didn't have a wheel at all of any kind. So they had to pinch that out. Anyway, this tempering would hold the clay instead of it slumping. Because
Okay.
for instance, the thickness of a dime, if you pinch that out to that,
Before you could heat it.
yeah, but squash, settle.
It's weighted and hold.
And so just a certain amount of this tempering in there held it.
Oh, okay.
And then it also helped out in the burning of it.
It didn't break
It would, made a, maybe you'd have a better word for it than I do, but it allowed it to expand and contract more without breaking than an untempered clay would.
Okay. Well, like your
Bricks will have checks in them too.
now, after a period of time, they crisscross. But you take your ceramics and stuff like that. They have a certain mixture of stuff in them so that they'll take the high temperatures
Yeah.
coming right out of the
They
freezer
crush
and going right into
They'll
the
crush a
microwave.
certain amount of the old bricks into the new ones and so forth. So that was really two reasons for them to use that tempering. Sometimes real small pots were made without it because there wasn't that much
Oh, okay.
slump.
It's fascinating.
Sure is.
They always, I suppose a kind of conclusion, but they always think of primitive people as being stupid. And there's no reason that the Indian, intellectually or intelligently, wasn't just as intelligent as we were. He lacked knowledge. So he had to continually figure out some way to take care of his problems. He had problems, same as we do.
Yeah.
And he didn't know anything about atomics or electricity or anything like that, but he used what he had to his advantage. And I think that the development, I mean, you get some of these intelligent people to make a spear point or some such object as they did back there, you got problems.
Oh, yeah.
And beautiful pipes, thinking of the Indians down along the Ohio River, Mississippi, and those mound builders, just beautiful pipes, even with modern tools, you
Yeah.
have a job.
Coming up with the same.
Making something like that. So they used what nature produced.
Yeah, and the thing about it, if they were stupid, they just wouldn't last much more than childhood.
No.
So
No.
they have to be intelligent to be able to live a normal lifespan, which, how long, what was their lifespan?
Not very long. The oldest ones that I had analyzed were in their 40s. They often hear about Indians living to be 80 or 90. I don't think they did here. I won't argue about elsewhere. And about half of the burials would be children. The rate of death among children was terrible. And women in their 20s was another common age. Even in their 20s, they had arthritis. The vertebrae in the back would show the little sharp edge that builds out there as the build-up of arthritis. Their teeth were terrible. That was, I think, the greatest shock that I had when I got into this. Because I always thought of Indians as having perfect teeth. And the story is that when they were eating meat, when it was a total meat diet, where they were chewing bones and eating meat, that they had good teeth. but corn and beans and pumpkins are heavy in starch, and this is what fixed her teeth. Eating a starch diet, and the starch would,
Sticking to the teeth,
would
brush it off.
form a good culture for their bugs in the mouth.
Black and whatever.
They didn't brush
Hmm.
after or before they ate, and consequently this would etch away at the teeth. And I've seen burials in the 20s when there would be cavities in every tooth they had in their head. Enough probably to have killed them.
Wow.
Infection from it could have killed them.
The old story of tobacco, chewing tobacco, keeping cavities away, that probably didn't.
It didn't work.
Because they did have tobacco, and
But they held tobacco in high regard for ritual and for medicine and even pastime, passive smoking. Strange stuff. So I'm sure there's more to be learned about the Indians, but pieced together.
How long did you say you've been doing this now?
I started, well, I've collected all my life.
Uh-huh.
One little point, I can point it right out to you there. I was 10 years old when I found out.
Oh, is that right?
On the very site
Oh, really?
that I was able to excavate.
oh, up here on the Bell site.
Oh, baby.
And Don Sloppy and I dug over on the Earhart farm. We dug up some pits over there right after World War II.
Oh,
Dean Earhart discovered that site out there, and Don and I did most of the digging on it. Dug up some arrow points and pipes, things like that. So that would have been in just about 50.
Well, now,
50.
would Don still have those, or did they?
No, Don gave me his collection. This is part of it here. And,
That is an amazing collection. There's a lot of
I've
stuff.
tried to what I can to hold it in the area. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if I don't own it, I could get a promise from him that you're not going to give it to some friend out in Ohio.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can think of several collections that have gone there, and they've got more arrowheads out there than
Oh,
we do
yeah,
already.
yeah.
And I could just cry when something like that happens.
No, it's good.
They don't even know anything about them. They'll just pack up a box full and give it to the granddaughter.
Yeah,
Out
yeah,
there.
pass it on.
And they don't know. They know they're from Pennsylvania. That's about all.
They don't know the real history of it or anything.
No,
but the
history's
people
gone.
that's behind it.
So that's, I think that's very important with it too. Well, the archaeologists call it provenience, where it was found,
Uh-huh.
out of what age group it was, and what it was used for. I think that's one of my great things, is to find some oddball stone and figure out how it was used. And I don't always agree with
Yeah,
either
your
the-
idea on the bird stones
either
and
my
stuff,
fellow
yeah.
collectors or certainly the professionals. They're, it's bitter, I suppose, but they're blocked by their schooling. If old Professor so-and-so told them, this is the way it is, that's the way it is. It was, and it is, and it will be.
You read a lot of opposition if you try and go against the grain.
That's
on
right,
this.
and in my case, ignorance is bliss. I haven't been misinformed about this stuff, so I make my own decisions. As Mr. Sloppy says, your idea is just as good as theirs. They don't know, so you can't be any farther off than that.
You got as much proof as they did.
So,
Well, now you were saying 10 years old on this. Now, how many years are we looking at in a collection?
well,
like that?
some of these I dug in this,
Oh, I see.
so that would have been in the 30s, up to the 90s.
You got 60 years to find that many
About
stones.
60 years. Or,
Well, how many stones would you find in a day's trek over a plowed field?
well, I was happy up there to find a couple. Now, that was the greatest site in that region.
That was the Bell site?
Uh-huh. And I said to Mr. Sloppy, I said, I want to write in my book that thousands of points. But I said, would that be amiss would I be lying to say that thousands of points have been carried? No, he said, you wouldn't be. So,
Okay, so over a period of time, people have found points and
Yeah,
been
they-
carried off to wherever.
they would, yeah, they'd come here from the cities, and they'd say to Don, where do you find those? And he would tell them about the Bell Place, and would I go up and see it? Well, I'd go up and pick up an arrowhead.
Yeah.
And over the years,
Just carrying it away.
carried off, and Don is a man of the truth. You know, that's why I asked him that question, because if hadn't been so, he would have pointed it out to me. So literally thousands of those points have been picked
Well, I
up.
can see this with the stuff like the petrified forest. You know, they talked about you can't go in and pick up stone anymore because they said if everybody that visited this place grabbed a stone and took it home, there wouldn't be a petrified forest
Yeah,
anymore.
they carry it, those places away. A good many of the places have made it against the law to carry stones out. Meredith Bloom they have a camp, I guess, down on the White River in Arkansas. And they have beautiful flint down there. But you could look, but no touch. It stays right there. Bring it back to Pennsylvania with you. And I guess that's all right. With it.
Every place
Just put
has
it in
its
the
own.
rock. Yeah, just bring it back, put it in the rock garden anyway.
Well, Mother brought back boxes of stones from her travel out west, and she wanted to get a fireplace built and put all these stones in it. And I don't even know where they're at now, but she had that big idea that that was going to be what she was going to do. That's a real nice rock out there.
Yeah, I neglected mentioning this model back here too. This is a scale model of the Bell site. The art classes at the high school where I used to teach
Oh, yeah.
did it as an art
I
project.
see.
Presented at Old HA. And
Mhm.
this was about a football field east and west,
Mm-hmm.
and almost that much north and south. This was the north end facing us here. And these, by judging from historic Indian sites, these fences generally were 10, 12 feet high
Oh,
around the outside of it. And quite a debate over what they're for. I mean, they're obviously a defense.
Mhm.
You know, should they be attacked, it would be
Right.
a useful defense, but I think it was also a windbreak. You know, on a hilltop, just a
All right.
10 or 12 foot fence around the outside. The wind blew through it, but you know, the theory of the snow fence, it breaks up the wind patterns, and
yeah, the
That's
snow would drop out
drops.
instead of filling in through. Yeah.
and some have proposed too that it kept animals out. You know,
Okay.
they had lots of panther, bear.
Skunks and
So,
coons and
yeah,
everything
so-
else. I see.
A lot of people really dispute that because they said anything that strolled into an village would go in the
Eat.
pot.
Okay.
Probably with some of these people, even if they're unknown humans.
Yeah, right.
Huron stew, you know, wasn't called that for nothing.
Yeah.
They'd cook up a prisoner, they came around mealtime, didn't have anything better.
Hmm.
So,
So this is pretty much scale, sort of scale
oh yes,
size
and they had
everything?
bark houses,
Okay.
and the McFate, this would be the McFate establishment here. They had a deep trench around. We tried to show it there, and it didn't come out too well. But they'd dig a trench and then pile that dirt up around the post to hold it
Okay.
in position.
Okay.
So it was partly an earthen wall, and then
Okay,
of course
with
these posts would come
Post
out
on the top of it. Well, that would tend to be a defensive type
Oh,
thing
yes.
because somebody coming up couldn't actually get over top of the
And
post.
much of this filled with water. When I dug down
That
into
trench.
it, yeah, on the southwestern corner, it was 20 feet across.
Wow.
And it had that greenish black, yellow, green, black mixture in it like swamp.
Okay.
You know, the being continually wet.
Uh-huh.
So it would have been a frog pond, and race through that and climb the wall. The same operation with it.
Plus, now you got water up there, and you've got frogs growing, and frog legs aren't any too things
Why,
to sneeze at either.
I saw pits that had, I don't know, it would be safe to say thousands of frog femur bones.
Wow.
Oh, they went for it in a big way.
Hmm.
They ate everything. That's why I said they ate everything that crawled or ceased to crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, snakes and Yeah, there were still fish scales and fish vertebrae, bones and so forth, and there was pits. But if they went hungry, it was pretty much their own fault, I figure.
The size of the lodges and stuff like that. Now, would a chief live in a certain size or something
I
like
never
that?
found any evidence of that.
Nothing?
Almost as if they were democratic enough to just live in an ordinary house.
Okay. The area in the center, would that have been a parade ground type thing?
Yeah, and there was no central hall or anything like that, a meeting house.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So that area in there would have been used for meetings, and the Indians were great for games. I don't have any proof of that, but historically they were.
Uh-huh.
So they would have had their lacrosse and shinny and a few of those, their snake, what do they call it, shoot that they'd use in the wintertime to throw this spear down their stick down through a groove in the ice. They played a lot of games, so I'm sure that that's what that was. Now, they buried out in there too, but the burials were filled in,
Okay,
leveled
so it
off,
didn't interfere.
and they cared nothing about burials. They were not marked.
I wanted to tell you, the Tuscaroras up there, they do it to this day. The runs that you're talking about with the spear,
Yeah.
they have actual competition that they do that up there.
Yeah, they
And-
have a little spear with the lead ends
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah.
and it's a special shape to them. In fact, this fellow over at Du Bois has one of them. He said, "What in the world is that thing?"
Oh.
So I got out my book and I showed him a picture of it.
How will be?
But there was a round spot in the end where you put your finger
Yeah.
and then shoot that thing down in a
Yeah.
groove in this ice for as far as it could possibly go, and see who could throw it the
Yeah.
farthest.
How will be?
It was really something.
Yeah, that still sticks around, and
Uh-huh.
it's modern.
Yeah.
And they had a game of, I'll not name it now, but where they rolled a stone, and then they would take a little spear of some kind, or an arrow, and try to put that where that stone was going to go. You know, while you threw the stone, the other guy fired his arrow, and see who could come the closest to where that thing would wind up.
How will be? Huh.
They had an Indian name for it, I forget now what it was. I imagine they got pretty good at their sports.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't excellent archers, though. That fact seems to come out. They stalked their game. That was the way they got it, and the arrow was just a means of getting the thrust enough to shoot this arrow through a deer. But they'd be up close enough. Oh, I guess times they would run them down, jump on them, you know, all sorts of wild games.
I've heard of stories about modern day hunters coming into that, and they didn't fare too
No,
good.
but, anything for meat, there were no laws at that time.
Yeah, that's right, didn't have your game commission. Do you feel that there was a plentiful amount of game in this area at that time? You talked about the elk and stuff.
Well, like I said,
Deer and stuff?
once in a while they would shift from one village to another. In fact, other new groups were moving in here. They must have shifted, you know, one of these other, about a dozen village sites right in our own area here.
So they travel.
had an option of making their rounds of those and probably coming back eventually. But lack of wood was one, and of course if they ran out of game, it would simply mean, well, the same as with the wood, you just have to keep moving farther into the backcountry until they could find game, and when it would get scarce enough, why they would probably figure it would be easier just to move the village and into a fresh area.
Well, how long would it take to build something like this? They wouldn't do that overnight.
Well, I guess they could put those houses up in short order then.
With
You
the
know,
poles and stuff, that would, with
Well,
having no digging tools of any kind of anything.
Yeah, now, how much of that stuff they would move with them, I don't know.
Okay, just let that there and take the lodges.
And, see, the Indians came down here from New York to hunt for a long time. Oh, into the mid-1800s. The Senecas from New York came down here to Du Bois, and they would build their lodges. Bark lodges, built them right there where Du Bois stands now. You know, before the town of Du Bois was there. And who was the old hunter over there? What the dickens was his name? Bill,
All mixed.
Billy, anyway, that hunted with them. The Senecas would come down. Billy Long was the famous hunter. So he slaughtered, came through this area. It's a wonder he didn't kill it all. But to come down and hunt with him, I guess he was a tremendous shot. You know, they would have their shooting matches, but everything perfectly peaceful at that time. But I assume because of that the Senecas probably had made hunting forays down through here and prehistoric times too.
Here again, you're north of the river.
Yeah, and they would run in with that occupants in there, and all kinds of ways it could have led to disaster. But it was pretty well under the guns of the Senecas. You know, Corn Planter, Warren, and that circle east of that was Iroquois country.
What was the Senecas? The Keepers of the West?
West door,
West door?
Yeah, and the Mohawks on the eastern door.
Right. And there was.
Well, the Onondagas were the Keepers.
How many tribes were there altogether?
5 and then 6 when the
It was
Tuscaroras.
considered Confederacy, right?
Yeah, when the Tuscaroras came up.
Yeah.
There was a question of whether they were actually related. They claimed to be, of course. It was nothing like being related to the Iroquois when these Indian wars came over.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Well, the Tuscaroras were more like adopted by the clan because they were I think they were in the Carolinas, weren't they originally?
Yeah, they were southern Indians.
Yeah, and
But they did claim relationship,
Right.
I guess.
yeah.
And that was a great thing among the Indians. See, with the famous Indian chief, what was his name, out here during the War of 1812, Tecumseh.
Tecumseh, okay.
His
Guessing into.
father was, according to his story, his father was a Shawnee, and his mother was Southern Creek, which made him related to just
Everybody.
far and wide. I mean,
East.
and they bought it apparently, and history kind of tongue-in-cheek about it because they couldn't have come up with a better story.
Did you ever hear of a Red Jacket?
Oh, yes.
He's buried in Buffalo. They have I can't think of the graveyard, but he's buried there. They have a big monument of him.
Iroquois, but I don't recall which tribe.
No, I don't know if he was Seneca or what. He might have been a Seneca.
There was a Blue Jacket, too. I believe Blue Jacket was involved in the fighting west among the Shawnees. Yeah, there were some famous chiefs.
Well, Red Jacket supposedly helped out the Americans during the War of 1812, I do believe. And because there were so many different tribes that you would think some of the tribes that were fighting with the English should have been with the Americans and vice versa. But
Yeah, they would switch sides.
Yeah.
And the highest bidder.
Oh, okay.
You know, if an Englishman came along and could offer so many barrels of whiskey,
Yeah, we're working for you.
at least that runs out.
Yeah.
Well, then they were up for grabs again.
Hmm.
But yeah, they sort of bought and sold their services, and they were often easily misled on things. They were such notorious liars themselves that they could be taken in by an obvious lie. You know, the British would spread rumors that, you know, that so-and-so tribe over here was planning to attack them. I mean, they were all ready to go to war over there. They could just work one group against another one so easily. I was reading recently where somebody asked the Indian, I mean, it was a white man who had gained their confidence, and he asked the Indian, you know, man to man, why they told such stories. And the Indian told him, he said they asked me about something I know, but if I tell him what I know, then he knows as much as I do. So there's no percentage in that. So nothing better. What did Reagan call it? Misinformation. You send him on a wild goose chase if you could, instead of just telling him you didn't know.
Give them a little bit of something to follow
So
down.
they would have gotten along fine in modern politics.
got a question pertaining to the scalpings. Now, did that relate to the Indians, or was that a bounty brought in by the
Bounty
Europeans?
type of thing, as near as I understand, that before the whites came over, they beheaded.
A whole head instead of a scalp.
Yeah, and that's what, in some of the burials, even down eastern Pennsylvania, they'd find extra skulls in there, and it was a puzzle to them for a long time to realize that those were the trophies. And the white men showed a more efficient way, just take the top of the scalp and
Carry more.
yeah, so you could handle a lot more of them, especially when they paid for them.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was wondering, is they did actually as a bounty type thing, is,
Yeah,
the white people you kill over here, the better.
there was a Hamilton out in Detroit that bought hair, they called him the hair buyer. And they got a musket for 13 scalps.
Wow.
A musket for 13 scalps, which was probably easier than what they had done previously. They would pile up beaver pelts, and they could come up. One reason they made such awful barrels on some of those trade guns, the Indian would have to grind it off so he could use it, but they'd have to pile beaver pelts up to the level of the barrel. There's your deal.
One thing with that scalping, they didn't discriminate between, like, they could be, they say it was their enemy, but it could have been a friend.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, you give them a little whiskey and, you know.
Yeah, that's what I figured with that hair buyer. He probably bought some British hair on it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was the deal. Musket for 13 of them.
It would be cheaper than to get those than trying to
That-
get beaver.
Yeah, that's probably easier to kill.
Yeah. No, how much of the scalp did they take? Did they take the whole hair, or?
I've read both. You know, sometimes they wring the whole head and take the whole top. And well, among the Indians, they left a scalp lock. Some of them might just be a little 50-cent patch over here on this side or up here, and you know, they were chicken if they didn't leave some hair there for the enemy to try to get. So
Now, was
then
that cut off, they might still survive out of it, though.
In that case, yeah. Well, there were whites that survived it. I've seen pictures of not just bald-headed fellas, but nice, neat piece cut out the back. Of course, if they were scalped entirely, they were finished.
Well, wasn't that a lot of the reasons that the white man that would go out into especially out west, he would have his hair shaved short so they wouldn't take his hair?
Yeah, it would sound reasonable to me.
Well, the military always went with you don't have a beard and you don't have long hair because your enemy can't grab a hold of either one and manipulate you.
Of course, the Indian, that was great sport. Having a long over
Oh,
there
yeah.
to get hold of it. Of course, they couldn't go to the beard.
No, that's right. Okay. I guess clear back into the Roman soldiers, they had to be clean shaven and short hair because it was fighting with the Norse. They didn't hold to that.
They didn't want to
Bushy
shave.
Yeah.
Or get their hair cut. No, I liked the long hair teaching there for a while. Boy, that was a beautiful way to deal with it.
Yeah, you've got
Don't
them.
turn your back on me. I could get on. Look around.
That's a good steering handle. I mean, it just
But they,
gets
now
their
they
attention.
frown on that. They don't think you should grab the kid by the hair.
Well, you're not even allowed to really top line.
No.
Or
Oh,
use
no.
derogatory remarks that they understand.
No.
Well, I'd like to thank Roger Thurston, my cousin here, helping out in a little display we have here. And how do you pronounce your name again, sir?
Matlack.
Matlack.
M-A-T-L-A-C-K.
And thank you very much for your time and your effort in this, I don't know if you want to call it a hobby, but it's a love.
Yeah,
Very-
either of those.
Yes. There's James. Potbelly cells they used to use. Isn't that neat? lanterns. Old oil cans. Wagon. Different types of locomotives. Let's spike in. Long Island Railroad. Curve, Altoona, Pennsylvania. James Galloway, please. Press it again, Jay. Press it again. Press the button again.
What's that water made out of?
I don't know, some kind of water.
Glass?
The railroad. Switchboard. Switchboard. Some of the tools of the trade.
talking to each other.
73 miles to Sealands Grove, Pennsylvania. That's where it joins the Susquehanna River. Down here in the cave, you'll see basically two types of formations. A stalactite, like this one ahead of us here. Any stalactite grows from the ceiling down. A stalagmite will grow from the ground up. Right? Some of these formations on the edge here, the entrance, have some greenish tint to them. Look closely. That green is moss. And it comes from the sunlight that comes down to the cave entrance, reflects off the water surface, and all around the edges here, like my light beam is doing. As we get deeper inside the cave, less sunlight can reach, so less moss can be seen growing. If you do see any moss, it's because of the artificial lighting we have. Leading eagle there. Here's the cave's first column or pillar. A column is formed when a stalactite going down leads to stalagmite that's growing up. These stalactites, like most, are hollow or porous. Water drips down from the centers, deposits minerals there at the tips just before it drips away. And the head of us is the claw of a giant lobster. The Statue of Liberty greets us on the shore. Here's a bunch of Chiquita bananas.
Hey, I'm feeling good. Hold on, fuck this.
Here's the first room in the cave. Look up here in the ceiling. You might imagine yourself looking down on a snow-covered forest. It's upside down forest. Over here at the edge, we have tiny people, stalagmites. Tiny people staring down at us. Some folks say the large one in the center looks like the Pope. And down in the cave, you see three different colors. That reddish rock around us here, that's iron, through rusted or oxide. It's called iron oxide. White rock here is calcium carbonate. And all the gray rock around us is limestone. That's the bedrock of the entire valley. This cave is carved from crackling limestone. Up ahead of us here on the ledge, kind of a skyline effect up there. It's called the Garden of the Gods. If you pass around the corner up here, we'll get a much better look at it. First, do you have any questions? About 200 years ago, 1795.
I'm just wondering where the big things are. They have to have road where they walk.
I know, the last night.
That's just hard.
Well, Dobbs Yankees, you never the right to Statue of Liberty, now the Constitution Tower. On the ceiling up there, a large Indian arrowhead.
You want to slide? Over the right, can you come up there?
Most people just see a rock chasing a rock. Look ahead of us here along this clear rock. You can see the water would drip down, deposit those minerals there. The formations are dry right now, which means they're no longer growing. It would have kept up though for a longer time at a steadier pace. A flowstone effect, like the one ahead of us here, would have been created. The flowstone effect, sort of a frozen waterfall. We get a lot of extra rain in the springtime. Over the dock. Last summer we were drafted by 8 years ago. No, that's not cement. It's not. It's the way the limestone is. On the hemisphere is a rock called Rock of Gibraltar. During the last ice age, this rock sat in a pocket of the left wall of the cave. It was forced out to its present position here by the freezing water during the ice age, which left just small straits of Gibraltar for us to pass through. As we pass through the straits, everyone on the side of the boat opposite from me, that's all of you, have to duck your heads a little bit to avoid this leg event. Do you have any questions?
Looks like a buffalo.
This is the third and largest room in the cave here. It was in this room in 1795 that was first discovered by the Reverend James Martin. And he climbed to a small sinkhole there on the surface, and he found himself up here behind this large pile of rocks. If you'd like to, after the tour, you can head up to the surface and see the sinkhole for yourself. In front of the large white fence cave house, we parked the cars, a telephone booth, and a big nifty room behind it. Walk right down into that sinkhole and look at the fences around the park. That leads to 150 feet behind this pile of rocks. Now, we're getting dripped on here a little bit. Even though we're getting wet, we call this room the dry room. It's called the dry room. There's a calcium up here in the ceiling. Now, seal those cracks over there into that half of the room, which means that few formations can form because the water can't pass through. The St. Bernard dog. If you really stretch that one, you might see out. And since we are lying right now, of course, we're very own petrified. Behind, as the water would come by and wash away the surrounding limestone. These would be left behind because they're insoluble in water. They're made of magnesium and silicates, yet they're insoluble. Back in the old days in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, they used to burn a lot of coal for steel mills there. She left an old-time Pittsburgh snowdrift covered with that coal dust. So Indian. And a stone carrot or a parsnip. Over to your left, wrong formation. The Canadian side of Niagara Falls. Read this picture for 2 hours. Canadian side of the falls there. The American side of the falls are above. Down here we also have a large shiny dragon. Dragon, long tail, his body, front fin, long scaly neck, and his head. He's been down here for quite a long time. He's pretty hungry. He's chasing a turtle at us. The turtle has a rock shell with his head extended in front. Head and shell. Stretch your imagination. Yeah. Over to your right, Lancaster County tobacco is hanging out to dry. Sheaves of tobacco. Here's a giant burrito. Maybe a shark's fin. How about the remains of a shark's last victim? Over to your left, an Eskimo fisherman greets us on the shore. He's got a fur cap and a fur coat. towards the dawn or sunrise. And everyone's favorite, little daylight. Watch your hands and heads. This tunnel was blasted in 1927, making it 65 years old.
Not now.
We just said, remember that big white house with the barn next to it? We were in that last room. We were underneath that house.
I thought he said the barn.
The white house. Well, regardless.
In there.
Switch kids for a while.
Why?
You can have this one on the way.
No, Daddy.
Specific minds when you're there. No, you're not allowed to move with it.
Oh, look at it.
It just might.
Okay, in the case. Mommy, what if they go in the case?
Oh, I don't think they will. I think they'll catch one.
No, they might. They're going in, Mommy. Where are they? Where are they going in? See, they're going in.
You chase them in, you gotta chase them back out.
We didn't chase them in.
See in the dark.
They go in?
Yeah, they went
Yeah,
out.
they're in.
Who's smoking?
Nobody is.
That.
You're in the window when you go outside.
Make it duck snow.
Yeah, the ducks are over there.
Are they over there?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll go back out. I want to go back out. There goes. Find the other one. One went out.
Two of them right here. Did one just go out? Two of them came right in. I don't see the other. They're under. They're both under. Back to the front of here. Our first formation is right there. It's called the waterfall with the lighthouse on top. Over the right, still the Pittsburgh snow drift once again. The black substance on top is not coal dust at all. It's actually carbon or soot. The carbon not meant for the tours of the lanterns used by early tour guides. Compared to Cave's age, geologists or scientists are studying Earth. They say the cave is about 30 million years old. Give or take a little. Now back to the space of your roll, if you're to the left side of the boat, don't forget to duck your head towards the wall. Line up the space and length of summer sausage to 11 in Bologna. Again, please duck your head to the left. Here's the highest point in the cave. 55 feet right here, 55 feet. Beneath this ledge to your right and upside down, Foreman Valley Sea with fields, farms, and fence roads all upside down.
Where's the thing that turns colors? Huh? Where's the thing that turns colors?
Ahead of us on the wall, the pair of angels' wings there. Angels' wings ahead of us.
Hey, that's not a long line.
Over to your right, the leaning tower of Pisa. Formerly the Statue of Liberty. About a mile ago. And here's some 5,000-year-old pig steep gestation hungry. Pickled pig steep. You might need a giant's wisdom tooth to help you chew them. And look closely at that wisdom tooth. It may actually resemble a hippopotamus with a swan dive out of the ceiling. Head to the right, feet to the left.
is an outro.
So this ends our tour. Pennsylvania's Cave. James and myself, George, up to that. Signing off. Hi, babe. Something trap. Found some catnip. There's the hen. There's the eggs.
Where's the bear?
Yeah, where's he at? Is he hiding in the brush there, Jim?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there he is. There he is. Hiding in the brush. Hiding in the brush.
And I have 5 kids.
James and the deer. Though a deer, huh, James? Why she don't bite you? She might nibble. Beautiful view. Valley between the two mountains. Close to the Penn's Cave. Right close to Center Hall. Amber Berry. Sister Karen, I guess. James. What are you doing, James? James, what are you doing?
Schimmel's wife.
She was married to Dan Schimmel, but that's a sister of your grandmother.
Oh.
See?
Now, who's this over here now?
This is the daughter of these people.
Well, that's the daughter.
This is a Hazel. This is a daughter of them.
She passed away in, what, 73?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
That. See there, I knew Mandy was here.
Well, I knew that he was talking here, Mr. Tobias, that he said he was here.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So that's the marker.
how do you see?
That's a pretty big grave lot, or a pretty big lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's 20 by 12, right?
20 by 12.
Well,
12 wide, 20 long.
Now that's where Alice and Walter and what was the girl's name? What was the
Addie.
Hattie? Hattie. Oh, Hattie.
Yeah, Hattie.
Hattie's big.
Russell and George.
And they what died about the same time? Or don't you know?
They died near the same time.
Did they?
Yes. They was over living in McCartney when they died. Then after they died, they moved Alice over here.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. After they died, they brought Alice over here.
Oh.
Because her mind got bad, and so they brought her over to Uncle Sam's. And that's where she was when Dan left. I mean, that's maybe not nice to talk about.
Here's James, where we're going to put the headstone for my grandmother Alice up the graph, and Walter, and I forget the other sister, but
Last year.
is a serviceman for what area now?
Ferguson Township.
Ferguson Township.
Fairfield County, yeah. Ferguson Township.
The Shakers. There's Dad's. Thurston's. Look at the Barretts one more time, James. Watch out. That's Dad's. That's your grandfather's. And there's the Barretts. Right there. Dead. Taking a little panoramic view. There's James. Hi, James. Hi. I don't know what it is, James. Maybe somebody had a kite over here. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody had a kite. Yeah, right in there is where the old homestead used to be, right about in there. Thurston Homestead. but it's since gone. Boy, oh boy. Get some frog legs out of this place, couldn't you? You never had frog legs. They're delicious, man. Yeah, delicious done right.
What are those blue things? Oh, holy crap, what is that?
All kinds of bullfrogs in there. But I didn't see too many fish, if any at all. James tired out. Charles Thurston's home up for sale. There's the for sale sign.
They're coming. Adam. They're coming. Oh!
Hello.
Hello, Rug.
Caught you again, huh?
Oh, yeah, you caught me again. Oh. My darn toaster wasn't plugged in. I thought my toaster was in, but it wasn't in. Is that soft enough? Yep. Now we have to get a little butter for on the toast.
Here's the Barretts up in the garden. Nice garden they got here. That's their hill.
I got part of it. Little of it.
The dog. Give you that, James.
Charles
Charles who?
Thurston.
Oh yeah? That's nice of him, wasn't it? Anxious to use it, aren't you?
Yeah, but Brian's got a... This is my kitten and that's his.
Jim, what's yours name?
Rainbow!
What's your last name, Jim?
Turner?
Turner. What's yours?
Thomas.
James what?
Up there.
Yeah. Where do you live, Jim?
Virginia.
Where do you live, James?
New York.
Oh, so you both don't live here. You're just visiting, huh?
No. Yep.
Let's see, I'll get a good shot of that. Huh. That's yours. Is that a calico?
Yep.
It's pretty, isn't it? It's a male or female, don't you know?
They're all females.
Oh, that's bad news. That's all they need is more females around here.
This one's mine.
You got a tagger one, huh,
I'm
James?
taking it home.
You are not taking it home. It's not even weaned.
Yeah, it's September. Maybe. A butterfly.
If we get that place, maybe, James. We'll see.
Nice kid.
Okay.
These are our friends. There's my baby. Let's say they're about 4 weeks old. Yeah. 4.
Okay, say goodbye, guys.
Bye. Bye, guys. See, senor.
Okay, we having fun yet?
Depends on what you mean by fun.
You don't have it on. Do you have it on, Rod?
Huh?
Do you have it on?
No, I don't have it on.
Oh, yes, you do have it. I can see it blinking now.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Hey,
Hey,
who's that?
Douglas Wayne Barrett.
All right. Trouble.
Trouble.
You got that right.
You got that right.
And there's Woodrow,
Yeah.
contemplating the situation again.
Oh, my Lord. Let us contemplate the situation.
Douglas Wayne Barrett.
Douglas Wayne Barrett. All alien free.
Oh, my. What did you get the kitties?
Here's the Barrett and the Turner clan. The last of the There's the last of the Mohegans right there.
Yes.
Let me see. Oh yeah.
Oh, don't get my bare feet. Last of the Mohegans, huh?
Well, what do you think, guys? About that time to say goodbye, huh?
Yeah, time to say, keep moving on.
Keep
all
moving
right.
on. Till next time.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe Labor Day weekend we'll be down.
Okay.
We'll try. Okay?
Nice having you, Ruggie.
Okay, Doug.
You and James.
You watch out for those women there, Doug.
Yeah.
Okay?
All I do is drool.